This is the Myroneman. It's a plugin that I've been working on with my buddy Mikey. We're really excited about it. It's our take on 80s headphone amp style gear. Without further ado, let me just get right into it. All right, so the way the signal flow works is you come in and you hit the noise gate, then you go to the compressor, then there's a distortion section, and then there's this place right here called the cabinet EQ, which is basically the way these headphone amps used to work is instead of like an IR or something like that, literally the cab sim was just kind of like a really special EQ curve that we've kind of recreated here. This post EQ section these are kind of like my two most common, like after the fact, even with regular recorded guitars. These are kind of like my two most common like EQ moves. We have a chorus/doubler section. This is what I use to take one performance and make it sound like two. And then this is an additional modulation section called the sauce. It's sort of styled after the push button modulation units of the 80s. And then we got a delay at the end here. So kind of just going through each thing one by one. We got our noise gate here. There is the standard mode. This, it's just kind of like your regular style noise gate. You got a little active knob here to let you know how it's working. I'll kind of crank the threshold up. These are true single coils made by my friend Walker Doubleday at Doubleday Guitars. Check them out. Pickups are amazing, but they are true single coils, so they do got some noise. So we'll just use the gate to kind of figure out where that is, and then good to go. Now, along with the standard gate, you also have what we call the brain gate, which is a little bit different. You can target high-end hiss, the mid-range, or just do a full filter, but basically instead of something that turns on and off, the brain gate rolls down the frequencies. You do kind of lose like the full like noise reduction of the standard gate, but in situations where maybe you're like playing leads and you don't want the tail ends to clip out, you can kind of get like this compromise of where you're getting a little bit of noise reduction, but you're not kind of messing with the dynamics of your guitar. You get some of the noise reduction, but you don't get the tail ends clipped off. The next section we got is the compressor, and we got two different modes. We've got kind of more of a studio type mode, and then a stomp box version, which is kind of more based on like the, two knob pedal style compression. You can kind of see the compressor working, really squashing those notes. Stomp box style is kind of a little bit different flavor. Also with the stomp box style, you got like an output knob, so if you want to boost the distortion a little bit more, you can use the output. Fairly standard stuff. Next, we got the distortion section. There's a couple different flavors in here. Anything from kind of like more of a subtle tube variant to got this one in here called the Berserker. It's pretty crazy. You'll notice some of the distortion modes have like different tone settings, like the Creamsicle has like a different tone knob. But all of them have this tight function right here, which is a high pass filter where you can control the amount of low end that goes into the distortion. So if you roll it down, it's kind of like more fat Billy Gibbons vibe. And then if you turn it up, could be useful for like dialing in the low end of different guitars, different pickups, etc., etc., etc. Now we got the cabinet EQ, which is my take on how these headphone amps put an EQ curve to like sort of do a cabinet. One of the things I don't really like about those old school headphone amps is you're kind of locked into what they thought the EQ curve should be. So I thought, why don't give the user a little bit more control? You can roll the lows, you can set how much high end, stuff like that. And then after that, let's say you got your cabinet set how you want. These are sort of like my little fine-tuning adjustments I do when I'm mixing. Sometimes if I want to make space in the center of a track, I'll scoop out 750 hertz. 750 is, if you've ever seen one of those amps with a 5-band EQ, the mid slider is usually 750, and that gives you that kind of like that Metallica. I mean, you can get really crazy and scoop both the 750 over here and over here. And then this presence is just a shelf that kind of just boosts the high end, gives you a little bit more clarity. Sometimes if you're, cutting a bunch up here, you can kind of add it back. So next we got the doubler. I am lazy, and sometimes I don't like doubling my guitar parts because, I like being able to sort of play freely and not have to worry about doubling it. So this doubler section basically takes the guitar from 1, now we're in stereo. Pretty self-explanatory. I basically just kind of have it set like this, and that's good for me. This section I'm really excited about is the sauce. Kind of a chorus, kind of like a really cool modulation vibe, but we'll turn it on and we'll select one of these things. And the cool thing is you can try different combinations of all the and then this intensity knob is great. It kind of just takes what you have and you can just get real crazy. Get real seasick with it, but sometimes it's fun to like crank it way up and then turn down the mix. Let's dial it back a little bit. And if you want to get super crazy with it, turn the doubler back on. And then lastly, we got a little delay. It's a stereo delay. You've got a left time and a right time, feedback, all the standard delay stuff. Low pass and high pass, so you can kind of, pick where the delay sits. Another thing I like to do is, you get your delays and your modulation all set up and turn off the cab EQ and the distortion and some of the craziest clean tones you will ever get. Finally, oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm literally just playing this on the internet right now. I'm on the Myroneman website. I'm not even in a DAW. My Ableton is not open. We're on Google Chrome right now. So if you go to myroneman.com/play, you can get into this too. And in fact, what we did is we put this little backing track up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to jam out for you guys. Questions, comments, feedback, you know where to find me. Get at me on the socials. And yeah, enjoy. Go to myroneman.com and try it out for yourself. All right, peace.